Are you embarking on a building project in Ghana and has been asking yourself how to come up with, finding a good caretaker for your project? If you have this, you're lucky someone else had the same problem and asked me in one of my videos to talk about it. I'll do my best to tackle the subject coming up next. This is Eric, and welcome to Ghana Bakweku YouTube channel, where we document the building process for our dream home in Ghana, West Africa. We hope that you find the content we share helpful, encouraging, and hopefully educating as well. All right, welcome again to the channel. As I mentioned in the intro, this video is about coming up with, finding a good caretaker for your project in Ghana. Most of us are building, in absentia, and what that means is that we need to find reliable people to man the project for us or to have oversight. One of our subscribers asked me about this topic. I have a little bit of an experience in it. I've seen both sides of the coin in the short space that I'm building in. So I'll talk about it here in the video. To not miss key points, what I did was I kind of like scripted this video. It's the first time I'm gonna go off of a script. So you will see me, glance over to, my right. I'm on a laptop because I'm in a hotel room. I'm traveling for work. You'll see me, turn from time to time to make sure that I didn't veer off. So let's get into it. We all know that when it comes to, hiring anyone, to take care of something for you, the person has to be someone that, you can trust. As important as hiring a caretaker is, you also have to concentrate on, how the person will deal with things when it comes to your project. All right, so let's get into it. First off, why would you want to have a caretaker? I think it's kind of obvious why you would want one, especially when you're building, in different phases of the project where maybe you don't have electricity on site, maybe you don't even have a gate up yet, and you have materials on site from time to time, and you don't have a way to secure it. Even if you had a way to secure it, it would be good to have someone on site to take care of it for you, right? So that is making sure that the place is protected. Another important thing is making sure that if an artisan is coming, there's someone there to let them in if the place is locked up, and also to oversee, something being, the fly on the wall for you. All right, and this is where having a caretaker comes in, right? It has its benefits. So now let's try to figure out how to, choose the right caretaker. Right. The first step will be to define responsibilities, right? So you as the builder, you'd have to tell the caretaker, this is what I'm hiring for. You're going to be here, X amount of days a week. You have to be clear in their responsibilities so they know exactly what they are there to do. This is where it gets a little tricky because everyone needs to eat. And sometimes the caretaker might work somewhere else. So it'll be difficult to have them on site all the time. And if that becomes a problem, then maybe that's not the right caretaker for you. All right. Second step will be to, vet the person. Is this something that they're capable of doing? Experience and skills, right? If you have someone who's done security work before, has maybe a recommendation from another project, right? That would be a good one. Another thing is, the person has to be, be able to be communicative, right, to you, and from the and to the coworkers. And to the artisans who come to site, right? Because more often than not, you'll be the one conveying messages to this person, and then they convey it to the artisan, right? And vice versa. The artisan might have information for you, and the caretaker will then relay it to you. So communication is important. If they don't have the skill, then they probably are not the right person for the job. Local knowledge is another one. If you have someone who is local to the area, knows the area, that means people in the area know them, their reputation will precede them, and that also gives you another benefit. You don't have a case like I had where when our cable wires got stolen, the caretaker had left to go to his village to go visit his wife and kids, right? Without telling me, and without, coordinating with the second caretaker who I had two, right? They both left the same weekend, and our wires got stolen that weekend, right? So having someone with local knowledge is good. Local knowledge probably ends up meaning that the person's actually living around the area or has, done caretaker jobs, from side to side in the area. The other advantage of that is that the people there probably know him, or it could be a her, right? Know him or her, and that reputation that they have will determine, how good they are, on your side, right? That's a good possibility that because the people know him or her in the area, dealing with, what goes on in the area, seeing things that look odd, all of that, they can be able to handle a little better. All right, so that was step 3, local knowledge. Let's go to the fourth one, which is key, is reliability and trustworthiness, right? And here you have to involve other people, right? You need to check references, conduct background checks if you can, and ensure that the candidate is reliable and trustworthy. And then make sure that you are considering more than one person, right? So take this as a job, right? You have to conduct an interview, right? You have to interview them, and make sure that, you are bringing to light everything that you want them to be able to do for you. And then you are making sure that they answer your questions, that you've already scripted, that you're going to drill them with accurately, and then go with your gut in that point. All right. And during the interview, number 6 comes in, right? You have to assess the person's attitude and compatibility, right? You have to consider the candidate's attitude and compatibility with the project requirements and team dynamics, right? So if you have someone who, for example, imagine if the caretaker is a mason, right? And you are doing masonry work, right? One of the things that helps here is that the person's rapport, right? You can have the person work with, talk to the contractor and say, hey, give this person a job, to work on the project for you or with you on my project. And their ability to communicate effectively on the team will show up pretty quickly. And if they don't jive with the people who are going to be working on the site, then they probably are not a good caretaker for you, right? Unless you are saying that the people are not the right crew, it's probably the caretaker not being able to be a good fit. Number 8 will be, if you can train, right? We all know what we want, right? A good part of the training is if I have a caretaker on site, I would want to see what is going on. So I probably will equip you with a camera, right? Or a phone, right? So we can communicate. And part of that will be you filming whatever went on site to me so I can see what went on. And, if the device I'm giving you is something you're not used to, I'd have to train them, right? In Ghana, for most people, when you tell them to take videos for you, they don't even clean the lens because they're looking at the front and they think that's what you see, right? But, especially if you're going to do what I do and put stuff on YouTube, you have to give them training, right? Wipe the camera lenses, right? Take, wide angle, videos, take landscape videos instead of, portrait videos and stuff like that, right? Don't move too fast. This is what I want to see, and all of that. So I can also feel like I'm walking through the project without being rushed through it, right? Because for us building abroad, the videos are how we connect to the project. Right. So let's move on to step number 9. After the training, you can also give them a trial period, right? Almost like you do in any job, a probation period. And then in that, it's like, okay, for the first X amount of days or weeks or months, right? This is a trial. We'll see if you'll be a fit, and if you're a fit, then we will move on from that, right? You do not commit to a long-term deal unless you know that the person can be trusted. Right. Finally, the most important one is you have to, once you are pleased with the person, you have to negotiate terms. You have to treat them as an employee, right? You have to treat them as an employee, and as much as possible, have a contract, right? Have an agreement that, there are some things that you wouldn't tolerate. And if they happen, the person is gone. Your responsibilities to them, and their responsibilities to you, as employer, employee, right? And this agreement is important because if you're not careful, you're going to end up having a situation where, your site gets taken over by someone who was your caretaker. We don't want that. The idea of building from abroad is daunting enough as it is. So being able to come up with a very good caretaker is important. It's not an easy one, and I'm not saying I know everything about having a caretaker, but there are other ways that you can go about it. Not having a human president is an option. Technology has made it so that you can also be your own caretaker, right? By having a camera on site, right? Maybe Wi-Fi enabled or cellular enabled video camera or cameras on site, so you can monitor what is going on from abroad. A lot of these cameras have two-way communication, so you can, talk to the people and you can hear them talk back to you. The only thing I don't really like about that is it gives anyone who's working around will get to know that, there's a video camera that someone is watching from somewhere. As much as it might be good, they can also time you, and come and do things when they gauge that you're asleep. But there are options, and I know it's difficult to come up with trustworthy people in Ghana. Family becomes really, really tough sometimes. But if you can find the right person, it's good. In my case right now, it's my cousin who's, on site, living on site because we finished the security post, equipped it, so he'll be in there as comfortable as possible, right? And how that helps is even though he goes out from time to time, I can let artisans contact him, set up plan for access to the place. Maybe he waits for them before he leaves, and all of that. So this is my take on this caretaker thing. When you're considering taking one, just think about all the factors that we went through, and most importantly, go with your gut. As much as possible, your gut will lead you, and even if it leads you the wrong way, at least you are convicted in your decision making, right? No one forced you to do it, so you can even forgive yourself a little better. It's tough dealing with other people. Relationships are tough, so it's not going to be easy finding a caretaker that you might not bump heads with, or who will do something that might not upset you. But I hope this helps. There's no surefire way of doing this, so I still go with rapport. Like in the interview process, you can tell. Some people can fake it, but normally you can tell who you can trust based on communication. And hopefully you find the right person. You could also try a mix, right, of video cameras and a human caretaker, because what that ends up meaning is that the caretaker knows he's being watched, right? Even if you're not really watching them day by day, they know that they're being watched, right? All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's conclude this. I hope this was helpful. I've had the experience where I had caretakers who left, and then things got stolen from the site, and then I ended up with a relative. I know there are people who will not use their relatives because they can't find anyone they trust. I've been lucky so far that I haven't had that many. I haven't had any major issue that will make me want to think of not using my cousin anymore. But trust me, if he crossed the line, that'll be it. I'll pull the plug, right? Because at the end of the day, if I can't be hard on my relative, then I can't be hard on anyone else, right? All right. Thank you for watching this video. I hope they helped. If there are any tips that you watching this video has used, please drop them in the comment section below, so other people coming after us will be able to learn something from what worked, right? Because I'm sure different people have different ways of they've gone around this caretaker business, and I hope we finish our building projects. It's tough, but keep up the good work. Ghana is suffering right now, internet connectivity and all, but hopefully they figure it out, and we continue making Ghana great, one build at a time. Thank you.